June 28, 1914. Two gunshots rang out in Sarajevo. Franz Ferdinand, heir to the throne of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, and his wife Sophie had been assassinated. At first glance, it was simply an assassination. But just 1 month later, Europe's great powers were declaring war on one another. Millions of soldiers would be mobilized, empires would collapse, and the balance of the world would be changed forever. But how? How could a single assassination drag all of Europe into war? The truth is, World War I did not begin with 2 bullets. Those bullets fell upon a system that had been building with tension for years. And when that system began to collapse, no country in Europe could remain on the sidelines. Europe in 1914 appeared peaceful, but beneath the surface, there was intense competition. Germany was rapidly industrializing. Britain was maintaining the world's most powerful navy. France was growing increasingly concerned about Germany's rise, while Russia was trying to expand its influence in the Balkans. As countries tried to secure themselves through alliances, Europe's political system became not safer, but more fragile. Because now, when one country went to war, it could mean that other countries would be dragged into the conflict as well. Austria-Hungary believed that Serbia was behind the assassination. Germany gave Austria-Hungary its strong support. Vienna sent Serbia a harsh ultimatum. Serbia's response was deemed insufficient. On July 28th, Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia. Russia then began mobilizing its forces. Germany declared war on Russia. France entered the conflict. Germany attacked France through Belgium, and Britain joined the war. A local Balkan crisis had transformed into a European war within days. For Germany, the problem was simple, but the solution was extremely difficult. Fight both France and Russia at the same time. Germany therefore adopted a strategy designed to end the war quickly. First, defeat France in the west, then send the majority of the army east. To do this, Germany advanced through Belgium. But the plan had one critical flaw. It was based on the assumption that the war would move quickly. France did not fall, and Russia mobilized faster than expected. Within just a few months, the entire character of the war had changed. By the end of 1914, the Western Front had come to a standstill. Armies dug themselves into the ground. Trenches stretched for miles. Between them lay an area controlled by no one. No man's land. The problem was no longer simply defeating the enemy. They had to break through the enemy's defenses. Machine guns, heavy artillery, and barbed wire made defensive positions extraordinarily powerful. The result was a horrifying equation. Massive human losses for a tiny piece of land. In 1916, some of the most horrific examples of this system unfolded. At Verdun, German and French armies fought for months. Then came the Somme offensive. Tanks became an important symbol on the battlefield for the first time. But technology did not bring the war to a quick end. Instead, the war became even more industrialized. Factories were now just as important as the soldiers on the battlefield. Who could produce more artillery? Who could transport more ammunition? Who could keep their army supplied for longer? The war in Europe quickly spread to the rest of the world. The Ottoman Empire joined the war. The Allied powers launched a major offensive at Gallipoli. New fronts opened in the Middle East. Colonial troops became involved in the fighting in Africa. In the Atlantic, submarines threatened vital trade routes. This was no longer just a European war. It was the world's first truly industrial and global war. But the war was exhausting not only armies, but entire states as well. In 1917, revolution broke out in Russia. A year later, Russia withdrew from the war. This gave Germany a major advantage on the Eastern Front. But that same year, a far more significant change took place on the other side of the war. The United States entered the conflict. The balance of manpower, money, industrial capacity, and logistics was increasingly shifting in favor of the Allied powers. Germany made one final attempt to bring the war to an end. With Russia's withdrawal, some of the forces on the Eastern Front were transferred to the West. In 1918, a major German offensive began. At first, the Germans made significant advances, but the offensive eventually stalled. The Allied powers launched a counteroffensive. American troops were arriving at the front in ever-growing numbers. The German army began to retreat. Its allies were also dropping out of the war one by one. Eventually, Germany's ability to continue fighting collapsed. On November 11th, 1918, an armistice was signed. The war, which had lasted for more than 4 years, was over. But Europe was no longer the Europe of 1914. The German Empire collapsed. Austria-Hungary disintegrated. The Ottoman Empire was dismantled. The Russian Empire was brought down by revolution. Millions of people had lost their lives, and the peace that was signed at the end of the war created a new Europe. But within that peace lay the seeds of new conflicts, because World War I had not simply ended a war. It had changed the 20th century.